In this video, I spoke to Greg Simmons. He's an AE at Apps Associates, which is an Oracle consulting services partner, and he's going to break down how he added $100,000 in commission to his W-2 in under 2 years. Now, Greg has nearly a decade of experience in the space, but like a lot of experienced reps, he hit a point where his results weren't really matching his potential. And in this interview, he's going to break down what changed in his approach, how he finally earned that first six-figure commission check. It's a beautiful story. And how he learned to confidently navigate complex enterprise deals that range anywhere from 4 to 12 million. And if you've ever felt stuck at a certain income level or wondered how do you unlock that next stage of your earning potential in tech sales, this conversation is going to give you a very clear picture of what that transformation actually looks like. I'm really, really excited to have a conversation today. For the folks that don't know, Greg's a client of mine. Been together for a while, but his journey is something that a lot of people want in the world of technology and sales, and he's doing some pretty incredible things, and I'm really proud of him, and I'm really excited to chat with you, my man, because again, it's been a while, and seeing your growth has been something that I'm really proud to just witness and be a part of. And I definitely want to chat about it. But for folks that are watching this, like, what are you doing today? Like, what are you selling? Just some background of like who you are.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Greg. I'm an account executive at a company called Apps Associates, and we are an Oracle consulting services partner. So we do all things Oracle, really, implementations, support, enhancements, or any kind of services that a client needs for Oracle. So been in the space for almost a decade now. I started off my time at Oracle, worked there for a couple years. I moved over to the consulting partner space about 2 years in. So been in that space for about 7 years now. It's been a journey. It's gotten me, to it's sales, right? So there's ups, there's downs, but it's gotten me to a point in my career where I'm now able to kind of think about, my long-term future, setting myself for success, having my, money make money. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at today. And of course, with the help of the coaching program here, I mean, I'm in a good spot, a good feeling right now. So
Yeah. I mean, but you've put in the work. I mean, you've had the mindset from day
yeah,
one that, hey, I've done well, but like, I don't just want to do well. I want to do great. I want to be the
right.
best. And like, I want to be free. Right. Cause
Yeah,
that's the real goal. I mean, I like to say sales is the island of misfit toys. Right.
for sure.
It's very rare that when, you're 5 years old and they say, well, what do you want to be, Johnny, when you grow up? And it's never
Yeah,
a salesman. Right.
right, right.
Right. Most people stumble into it, and they stumble into it because it could be very lucrative and you can have more control of your destiny, because that's how I got in it. Right.
For sure.
Um, I mean, talking like Batman, right? Definitely
Yeah,
isn't a traditional path to get you into tech
right.
sales. That's for sure. So, um, yeah, but
Yeah.
how long have you been in the program?
So I think I've signed back in November 2023. I
Yeah.
think so. So it's been almost 2 years, coming up on 2 years now.
I mean,
Um,
and you're OG because we launched
yeah,
in October of 23. So you're one of the OG beta, people that
yeah,
joined, and where I was, you figuring a lot of things out. Of course, you're still figuring a lot of things out, but
sure.
you've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And when we started to work together, what was it for you that really made you like look into like working with a coach, just in general? Because like you already you're doing pretty well. I can't remember what you were making at the time,
Yeah.
um, but I know you weren't struggling to pay the bills when we first started working together. But as what was
Mhm.
it for you that made you want to explore work with a coach?
So I kind of have this value and this mindset that, I always need to be continuously growing and pushing myself in every forms of my life, whether it's my health, fitness, career, relationships, all of that. And I think I was blessed with that mindset and that mentality and just being raised that way. So I was, I'd been in sales for about 5 years. I did well, had promotions, went to a new company, had, raises here and there. And then I kind of plateaued a little bit. I kind of fell off of the honeymoon phase, I guess you can call it. But it was just kind of plateaued. I was no longer kind of performing at the top of my teams, and I was kind of more in the middle, which is not a bad spot to be. You're not on the chopping block, but you're also not. I didn't feel fully fulfilled. I felt that I had more potential within myself, and I, had started looking at YouTube videos. I was, just searching online. Hey, what how can I kind of refresh my sales career? What am I doing? How can I just go to the next level? I guess that's what my biggest question was. Like, I want to take it to the next level. I feel like I have it in me. I started watching YouTube videos. I started just trying to read blogs and whatnot, and that really wasn't doing much for me. Kind of just still felt stagnant. So then I think I stumbled upon you was Instagram ad or it was something like that. And I was like, you know what? You let me look into this because I didn't think about a coach at the time. And you know, I didn't know I guess I didn't really think about that existed. So I saw that. I kind of took a little bit more thought about it, and I was like, hey, maybe this is what I need. Someone who's been in the trenches, who's done it before, who's climbed the ranks, who's been through the all the different experiences. I started selling more complex deals too, and I was just kind of caught of, what to do in those situations. And having someone one-on-one that I can speak with was like crazy value, right? I mean, just having that, and I wasn't really getting that from my management. So I explored it, and I think another goal of mine was to hit six-digit commissions because I've been hitting. I had some decent commissions here or there. I'd heard some friends of mine hit six-digit commissions. I've heard of other people doing it. I'm like, I can do it too, right? Like, why can't I be there? Like, why I should be there. So I think what made me make the jump was, I just started thinking about it. I had that first conversation with you, Justin, and I could tell you got it. You really understood where I was at. You had a plan to help me get to that next level. I could tell you were the real deal. It just felt good in my gut. I felt confident that you could help me build that strategy to reach that goal and, hit that six digit commission target and just kind of get to that next potential. And that's what happened. So
I mean, one of the thing that really jumped out to me because I still remember our conversation because, like I said, you were one of the early members of the program
yeah,
that we run today. You are, even though I've been coaching and training for, over a decade, right? Formalizing and putting together like a structured coaching program. Once I left the corporate America game myself, it was, you remember those early conversations. And I remember our conversation and thinking like, all right, this guy's really hungry because, we have a lot of people that, meet with us and most people don't get into the program. It's
yeah,
either, it's not a fit for one way or, one reason or another. Yeah. But one of the things and attributes that we look for is people that are hungry and people
yeah,
that want more for themselves because, one of the things that when I set out to create this program, I wanted to create something that I wanted as a rep. It's like I wanted someone that's going to be hands-on, wanted someone's going to say, hey, don't do that, stupid, do that instead.
yeah,
And it was someone that was going to hold my feet to the fire. And, it wasn't for the faint of heart. So, I remember from our conversation that, you know, um, your mindset really came through, because if you have a great mindset, I can train any skill set. And that was the thing
that's
that really
fair.
stood out to me, from our conversation. And you put in the work, right? And you're reaping the rewards. So
Yeah.
for you, like when you joined, what was going through your mind? Like, cause you're like, all right, I don't know this guy. This guy sounds like Batman. And he's got a decent background. I'm taking a leap of faith here. But like those first like 2 weeks or 30 days, of us working together and you being in the program, like, what was that experience like for you, in the early days?
Yeah, obviously it was a risk, right? Something that I'd heard your testimonials and whatnot, and had some confidence in that. And obviously, the conversation that we had, you provided some value up front on understanding my situation, how you could help me, and I felt really confident. And they were just kind of more of a gut feeling, and I was like I said, I'd been trying other things like YouTube or whatnot for a while, and it just wasn't working. So I was like, I need to make this decision for myself, and
Yeah.
I need like this. It felt like this was the answer, right? And I'm glad I trusted my gut in that because that was right. Um, but how the first experience working with you, I think I got instant value out of it, right? I joined the call, I think the next group call that you had, introduced myself, kind of met the community. A lot of those same people went to the mastermind together with, so that was awesome, to meet them in person and really, share that experience with them. So it was really cool to be part of the founding members as well. So it was kind of a little tight-knit community there too. And it was cool. Just, I think there was a number of things that I felt I got instant value from when joining was number one, listening to other people's problems that they were having and how I might not have thought of that, or I had a similar problem also that I didn't even know I had,
Yeah.
right? So then I'm like, okay, wait, yeah, I've experienced that before too. And then you're kind of helping them through the solution, and I'm like, okay, I can apply that to mine. Or if someone made a mistake and brought it up on the group call and you were addressing it, I could make note of that and be like, okay, when I reach that point, or if I encounter that objection, or if I encounter this issue, I know how to handle it. So it was almost like instantly I was already kind of just learning how to learning from other people's mistakes as well, right? And then I think instantly was the time management exercise, the calendar exercise. I was like, wow, it really opened my eyes on how I wasn't managing my time right and respecting my time. And I think that was an instant. I mean, since day one, I have changed that, and now I've used your method going forward, and it has been life changing, just in that piece, and that's such a small piece of it, right?
Yeah.
That's just one little minor piece of the pie, that I saw instant results with. So that was kind of an instant relief. I would say I was kind of a slave to my calendar when I joined, and I didn't really realize it. I just felt overwhelmed. I didn't know why, and so that was awesome. I think also looking at my numbers, writing them down, really analyzing them, I hadn't done before. So that was helpful to see where my gaps are and where I can kind of streamline my focus. Um, yeah, I'd say those really kind of the
Yeah.
instant things and how my first experience was. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important to call out with the group stuff because one of the,
Yeah.
I'd say one of the biggest things that we get in terms of concerns or hesitations is, look, am I going to get one-on-one help? Right? Like,
Yeah.
can I get someone to work with me? And I think you hit a really important point because one of the point things that we relate to people is, yes, we're hands on with everybody. Yes, you have the opportunity to get one-on-one support, but there's so much you can gain from being a
Yeah.
part of a community and a group environment, right? Where
Hmm.
a lot of people that are seeking coaching, or even if they're unsure if they want to invest in coaching, right? They're just looking at it all wrong. And they're just thinking about it as, hey, like, how can I get you one on one as much as possible? Where,
Yeah.
the way we like to think about this is like, look, our goal is for you to spend as little time as possible with us and get to your
Yeah.
desired results. Right? That's how we think about it. And,
Right.
those group structures can be so incredibly powerful to do what you said. Hey, I didn't even think about that as a problem, but
Yeah.
now I know, right? When I get to the
Hmm.
next part, or, oh, that wasn't even a question that I had, but that's definitely a problem that I have and I didn't even realize it. Okay,
For
boom, like
sure.
unexpected value, right? You don't
Yeah.
know what you don't know. So I think, it's a really good call out there. For you, when you think about your experience, because obviously we did the low hanging fruit, helping you get your systems in place for like being productive, and starting to think and act like a CEO of your business. I guess when you think about the systems, the methodologies, the frameworks, for you, you mentioned before, as you had some lofty goals. what are some other things that you've really taken from the experience that has really served you, like those systems that you've implemented, whether that was day one or obviously day 365, right? What have those been for
Hmm.
you?
So as far as like what systems have I taken along the
Yeah,
way,
well,
along the
like
journey?
what have been your takeaways? Like both I guess we could talk qualitatively. What do you
Yeah.
think about your business and how you operate as a seller today, versus how
Hmm.
you were when we started working together?
Sure. Yeah. I think number one is the confidence in my deals and how I handle them. Number one, starting with just the confidence of my discovery calls, right? And even in doing film review, I'd never done before either. And obviously that was a scary thing. But there have been multiple times where I had, been on a call and we did film review together, even film review in front of other people. And I was like, okay, it's a little nerve-wracking at first, but you get so much benefit out of it because um, you're able to handle the next one even better. And then you continuously just like become more and more confident in it. And I think that also helps with conversion rates as well, at least from what I saw. And just having like more of a script as well, just helped me kind of structure everything. So since I learned that in the program, I do that on every discovery call. I try and I'll record every discovery call as well. Excuse me, and review them with Coach Mason, right? If I was like, hey, maybe this opportunity didn't go anywhere, what could I have done better, right? And I'm no
Yeah,
longer like nervous or scared to bring those up. I'm just like, hey, here's the recording. Let's listen to it. Where could I have gone better? So that I think alone I've taken away. And then also navigating the larger complex sales cycles that I am expected to close and that I've when coming into more of a senior role, speaking with C-levels, right, on phone calls. And I'm not, I'm kind of a younger guy, so it's sometimes I realized I might have some limiting beliefs on like able to connect with CEOs or C-levels, right? So I've been able to tackle that, and I'm no longer, nervous to talk with them or you know, nervous about finding some similarities or things in common, right? It's just, so I think just mainly the confidence that I bring into not only the deals dealing with C-levels, but also navigating those large complex deals too.
and what type of deal was he running when you say large? Like, what's the dollar amounts? What are we talking here?
Oh, anywhere between 4 to 12 million, I would
Okay,
say,
yeah,
for a contract.
yeah,
And I work in the industry that I focus on is public sector. So these deals can really draw out, 6 to 9 month sales cycles,
yeah,
right? So it's like I need to have quite a few of those running in the pipe at any point in time because I need those to hit my quota, right? So just being able to manage those and handle those confidently, I think was a
yeah.
huge, huge takeaway.
Now, what about on the dashboard? Right? What's been your results? You had a big goal. Did we get those? Did we get to six-figure commission checks, or
We did. I got
we
my
did?
first six-figure commission check. That's right. That was a huge, beautiful sight. I like first thing I did was tell my dad. I mean, my dad was kind of the reason I got into sales in the first place. So just even, and he's not a very emotional person, but him to even say, "I'm so proud of you, son," kind of thing was like huge.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, so that was just such a great feeling, hitting that goal. And also more quantitative too, I kind of looked back and since I started the program, I added just under 100K in my W-2. So it was around like 90 something K in my W-2. And that's all in commission, right? So my base has
Beautiful.
stayed the same over the last 2 years. It's been the same base. So really just all commission in that. And I never thought I would be able to hit that number. I didn't think that was possible for an account executive, honestly, to hit the W-2 number I saw in my last W-2. But it was a great feeling for sure.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Right.
Thank
And
you.
and the feeling of the word proud of you. I mean, there's so
Yeah,
much weight to that.
for
Um,
sure.
when you have your dad come to you, your hero, and he
Yeah,
says like, "I'm proud of you, son." I mean, it's like,
huge.
right.
Yeah, it's like
So,
emotional. You know what I
oh,
mean? Because it's
absolutely,
just like you really hear those very often, and when
yeah.
you hear that, it means a lot.
Well, and I have this phrase that I like to say when I have those moments that happen that are those really rare moments that I'll cherish. I call them beautiful moments.
Yeah,
And they're those like one off conversations. Like, you'll probably always remember that interaction,
yeah,
right? Because of
100%.
that moment, right?
Oh
And,
yeah,
when I'm working with people, it's not like, of course, the money's great, right? But this is about living a better life and having a better experience and being more
yeah,
fulfilled. And that's incredible that, you had that. But I know you're doing uh, some big things now. So, I mean, what's next? What are we working on here?
yeah. As far as kind of the next ventures
Yeah.
that I'm lining up,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I've definitely been able, been blessed to be able to have some extra, you know, cash that I've been sitting on. And, I've always, like I said, the mindset of continuous growth, right? And what's next and thinking about the future and, you know, being able to have my money work for, to work for itself, right? And build more money and make more money. So I started a company actually at the end of last year and real estate investing company to where, I'm going to be expanding my real estate portfolio, doing flips and eventually doing builds as well. So 6 years ago, I started with a buddy of mine who's been in the real estate game for a while. I started helping him with some hard money loans, and I kind of got my feet wet in the investing world that way. Really passive, we just might as well have my money,
Yeah.
gain way more interest than sitting in a bank account, right? And I trusted this person. I knew this person, went to college with him, so. For the last 6 years, it's been nothing but reaping me good rewards and just continuously helping him out, which is helping me out in turn. And, I look 20, 30 years from now, I definitely want to, find more freedom in my schedule. And so that's kind of where this all started. And opened my company. I have two properties now um, since the end of last year. So I want to keep building that. And, eventually 20, 30 years from now, I'll be able to, work on I mean, less than that, but be able to retire in about 20 years is the goal.
I mean, well, here's the thing. People get retirement all wrong. Like, retirement isn't about
Yeah.
going on a beach and sipping Mai Tais. It's, being able to just do
Right.
what you want,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'll never stop working, but, I get to do what I love. And,
Yeah.
and seeing you well on your path towards freedom, right? Because that's the real
Yeah.
goal, is so inspiring to see. It's like, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm really happy for you
Thank you.
and everything you're doing. If someone's watching this and, they're thinking like, okay, I don't know if I, should get a coach, or, you know, you know, is this the real deal?
Yeah.
What would you say to someone that you might be watching this and is considering working with really any coach, first off, but then also,
Hmm.
if they're taking a look at our program, what would you say to them?
Yeah. Good question. I wouldn't be in where I'm at today without, taking the leap and working with Justin and the team. The results pay for themselves, right? I was able to start a company, make the investments that I made, be able to, purchase two properties in 6 months, right? And kind of start working towards that long-term goal of mine. Um, I would say, this is the answer I didn't know I was looking for. And I think the confidence you gain alone from it is worth it. But like I said, the results pay for itself, right? I saw almost $100,000 in less than 2 years increase in my W-2 and just commissions, right? You'll receive commission checks that you didn't think you would be able to cash in your bank account before. It definitely gets you out of the rut. If you're in any sort of rut right now, like I wasn't in a bad spot. I was just kind of skating by and doing okay. Um, But if you're in that position too, I mean, and you're a person that has the mindset of continuous growth, like there's no better investment that you can make in yourself than within yourself, increasing your skill set and whatnot. And I think to me, it's just a no-brainer. If you're going to invest in something, invest in yourself to become a better person, a better salesperson, make more money, and become free, so you can reach those goals in the future, right? And that's the main goal: become free and live life on your terms. And, I wouldn't be able to have set myself up for that in the future if it wasn't for Justin and the team. So,
But the key
and
is you set yourself up for that, right? We
yeah,
just gave you the tools and the systems, but you're the one that's done it and you're making shit happen and you're well on your way. And I appreciate you spending some time with me. And, once again, I'm just so incredibly, proud of you. And I'm so excited to see, the next chapter of your journey. So, I appreciate you
thank you.
spending some time with me, my man.
Yeah, of course. It's always an honor to speak into Triple J here. And, I just want to thank you for the experience as well. I mean, just believing in me, pushing me to my boundaries, to the limits that to my potential, right? And pushing me to see that full potential in myself. Um, I can't thank you and the team enough for that. The mastermind was an incredible experience. I was part of the OG crew at the first mastermind, and that was, you know, a life-changing experience within itself. So, um, I, I've even a little tidbit, kind of going a little bit on a tangent, but you know, my when my mom would visit me, I'd be on the group calls and I would be on kind of on speaker, right? And every time, after like one or two calls or whatnot, she looked at me and was like, "Who is that?" And he's very smart, right? He knows what he's talking about. Is that your manager? And I'm like, no, actually enrolled in the sales coaching program. And she's like, wow, there needs to be more people like that in this world. She was like just very impressed by the way you go about things too. And I think that that meant a lot as well to me, to have her buy-in also in that, and was just like, she's like, wow, and she was kind of proud of me for making that. She's like, how did you even think of doing that? How did you come across him? You know what I mean? Like things like
Yeah.
that. And she's like, she was just impressed, right? And she was just like, wow, like I'm very impressed that, it sounds like he really knows what he's talking about. And she was like, I kind of want to learn from him too. 'Cause she has her own um
Give her my number.
court reporting business, you know what I mean? And
Yeah. Yeah.
she's like, wow, I'm kind of learning some things too from some of his, how I can work with people and communication and things like that. So just kind of a
Yeah.
little random tidbit as well, but it just kind of further, like, I don't know, instills that feeling of gratitude for you and the team, and just how much you really have helped me along the way, and just how thankful and grateful I am for pushing me to my limits, pushing me to my potential, and getting me to ultimately the freedom that I want to achieve.
Well, what I'll say is, first off, grateful. And I'd be lying if I didn't say you have heard it several times where someone's spouse will be on, they'll be on speakerphone and
Yeah,
usually it's a spouse and they're also in sales and, they're getting some nuggets out of it. But
yeah,
it's the first I've heard of a parent. So that's,
yeah,
that's amazing. But what I'll say is, go to you and as you wrap up is, in order to be in the top 1%, you have to be willing to do what 99% are. And
yeah,
99% of people are not willing to invest in themselves. 99% of people are not willing to, find the best, study them, and learn from them. And, you know, it's a big challenge. And it's why I do what I do, because, when I was a sales leader and I was a chief revenue officer, I just realized there was a fundamental aspect of this system that's broken. And sales reps are
yeah,
set up for failure over and over and over again. And companies just don't know what the hell they're doing. And this is big companies and small companies.
yeah,
And so many reps, they they know they're not. where they want to be, but they don't have the the courage to bet on themselves.
Hmm.
And that's what I admire about you, because you continue to bet on yourself, and it's going to keep paying dividends. So now I'm really
Yeah.
proud of you, man. I'm really excited for the next chapter. And can't wait to have this conversation again in a couple of years when you're up to, you know, 20, 50, 100 units. I mean, what's your goal a couple of years from now?
My goal is 20 units
20 units.
and
All right.
yeah, my goal is 20 units, 10 years. I want to start, my other goal is to make 250K a year doing this within
Just
the
from the real
next
estate.
just from the real estate.
Just from the real
Yeah,
estate.
250K a year from the real estate within the next 2, 3 years. Um, so I know it's a little bit aggressive, but I have a team out there now. My buddies, we're working on new builds and whatnot, which gain, some pretty big profits around that. So it's really just kind of building the capital to put up for those builds and then, you know, making sure that we're being smart about it. So just kind of starting to build the strategy. I'm still, I wouldn't be able to do this without the success I've had in sales, that's for sure. Right. So just kind of managing the two right now, but ultimately in the next, couple years, I want to be doing that full time and, freedom, living life on my own terms. But like you said, like you said too, I mean, it's like there's no better investment that you can make within yourself, especially if you're early on in your career. Um, it's it's like those skills that you gain by investing in yourself are going to pay so much more dividends than anyone can imagine, right? And you're going to take those and continue to exponentially build on those. And I'm like, I should have thought about this sooner. You know what I mean? And I could have been here a little bit sooner, but I am where I am. I'm still, got quite hopefully a lot of runway to go. But yeah, that's another thing I would say to anyone watching is like there's no better investment that you can make within yourself and improving on your skill set to make more money and ultimately gain more freedom at the end of the day. So it's like it's a no-brainer. There's no other better investment you can't tell me than to make in yourself, right? So you got one body, one mind, one brain, like take care of it.
In one life.
One life. Like make it the best you can be. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Right?
Awesome, man. Appreciate the
Yeah.
time.